Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host, Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a great day, and above all else, that you're indeed looking after yourselves and one another. Today, ladies and gentlemen, before I get into the topic of what we hope to be another insightful, entertaining, informative episode, I want to welcome back to the channel Mr. Ken Cheshire. How's it going, Ken?
It's going well, Armando. Time for music, shits, and giggles.
The older you get, it's more shits than
Not
giggles. I'm telling you
not
right now. So,
necessarily in that order, yeah.
I know, I know. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a wonderful episode for you. We are doing another album spotlight. And this is on an album and an artist that I've known about for years, as Ken has. But I've never really dived into their music because their music for me was sort of a hit and miss, more miss than hit in certain areas of their career. But the album we're going to be talking about today in the spotlight is a fantastic piece of work. The band are Roxy Music, and the album in the spotlight today is Avalon. There we go. You're good. There you go. There you go. Ken's got props, ladies and gentlemen. Now, a little bit of background on Avalon. Avalon is Roxy Music's eighth and final studio release. It was released on the 28th of May, 1982 through EG Polydor Records in the UK and through Warner Brothers Records in North America. It was recorded between 81 and 82 with a playing time of massive playing time, 37 minutes and 25 seconds. 26 seconds, sorry. Perfect for vinyl, too short for a CD. It was studios it was recorded in was Gallery Studios in Chertsey, UK, Power Station in New York City, and Compass Point in Nassau, Bahamas. The album was produced by Rhett Davies, longtime collaborator and producer of the band. Now, this is a follow-up release to Flesh and Blood, which came out in 1980. Now, I'm going to read you a quote from Brian Ferry on the recording of this album. This is a bit lengthy, so I'll try and make it as succinct as possible. Quote, I often thought I should do an album where the songs are bound together in a style of West Side Story, but it's always seemed to be, sorry, much, too much of a bother to do so. And he goes on to say, I have, since I have these 10 poems, or short stories, as it were, that could, with a bit more work, be fashioned into a novel. Avalon Avalon is part of the legend of King Arthur, and and it's a very romantic thing, where when King Arthur dies, the queen ferries him off, sorry, to Avalon, which is sort of an enchantment island. It's the ultimate romantic fantasy place. So that is the gist of what Avalon is. It's basically a story bound up in 10 songs. Now, at this point in time, as I go through my notes, do bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. Roxy Music were down to a trio. So performing on the album, you have you know, Roxy Music mainstay Brian Ferry on vocals, keyboards, and guitar synthesizer, and also Lynn drum programming, Andy McKay on saxophones and oboe, and Phil Manzanera on the guitar. Phil Manzanera would also go on to work with uh, quite extensively with David Gilmour on his solo career. And also performing on the album on drums, you have Andy Newmark, Rick Marotta, and sorry, Alan Spenner on guitar, on bass guitar, sorry, and also Neil Jason on bass guitar on some tracks. Now, I've, at the suggestion of Ken, I did get this album and I did sit and listen to it uh, quite a few times, and I will give my opinion of this album, as is customary with these episodes, at the end of the episode, at the end of Ken's spiel. So, Ken, please give us your history with this album because I know pretty much how you feel about this album. So, what is your history with Avalon from Roxy Music?
Okay, thank you, Armando. This is one of those albums that I've lived with since its release, which has been a long time ago. Um, Somewhere along the line, and I just don't have a clear memory of it. I
Hmm.
heard something off this album from somewhere, um, uh, and that encouraged me to find a vinyl, and I did, and it sucked me right in. I wasn't really familiar with the style of, I guess you'd call this synthpop or synth pop or romantic pop or whatever.
It's
Choose your misnomer.
it's listed as I failed to mention this, ladies and gentlemen. The album is listed as sophistopop and a rock pop.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
sophistopop to me does sort of fit that
Does to me
style
too.
in the music.
Does
Yeah,
to me too.
yeah.
But anyway, it's like I said, I wasn't really familiar with this genre. Um, and it just the whole vibes. I mean, it leans heavy into the atmosphere and texture. It was very different than a lot of the electronic music at the time. And
Hmm.
first of all, I noticed um, I always look at music from okay, who produced it and who's else is playing. So I noticed that Rhett Davies. I'm thinking, oh, that sounds familiar. Um, Of course, he's done five Roxy music albums, but I wasn't that familiar. He's actually produced most of Brian Ferry's solo albums, so that makes sense.
Hmm.
But he produced Selling England by the Pound, Genesis. He produced five Camel albums. He produced a couple of Robert Palmer albums. He produced several of the Brian Eno solo albums. He produced Dire Straits' debut album. Especially what caught my attention when I saw that he produced um, Talking Heads, More Songs About Buildings and Food, which is one of my favorite Talking Heads albums. And so I recognized his name initially from that. He produced both Discipline and Beat from Crimson,
Crimson.
which are um, two of the King Crimson that I lean towards. But Split Ends Till Tuesday, really, I've always loved them.
Hmm.
And one of the Wang Chung albums. So he was really all over the place as far as styles, and I just feel that whatever he had his fingers in, um, depending on the genre and style, just really came out very well.
Hmm.
Um, I love, like I said, this very atmospheric and texture oriented music and very stylized lead vocals um, with Brian Ferry. And one of the interesting things, many of the songs on this album, um, the vocals are sometimes mixed down to where they are even with the instruments,
Okay.
which just really does enforce the vocals being another instrument. Not all. There are several tracks that the lead vocals is more prominent, but I like it when um, and because of his stylized vocals, it really does lend um, that feeling of it being another instrument, for that
Hmm.
atmospheric sound.
Hmm.
I visit this album often. Um, uh, I bought the SACD back in the day
Hmm.
with the extended mixes and whatever.
Hmm.
Um, I bought the recent new Blu-ray release
Yeah.
with high res and the 5.1 because it just lends itself to that massive, just being encompassed by these sounds. And like I said, I keep saying the word atmosphere, but that's exactly what it is. Um,
Yeah.
it's that warm blanket on a cold night, with a hot beverage. It just you just
Yeah.
uh, let it
Speaking of
just
hot beverages,
embrace you. Yeah, it just you let it embrace you.
yeah.
Um, and that's interesting. And the cover does represent that um, King Arthur aspect of it.
Yes, it does.
And
Cheers
was
to
just
Roxy
one.
Music.
Yeah, it is a perfect one of the best album covers ever because it really catches the eyes and it represents the overall themes. And a lot of people don't even realize that, yeah, this is technically it's a concept album.
Hmm.
Um, and Phil Manzanera is never, I mean, this is some of his most subtle, wonderful guitar work I've ever
Yeah.
heard.
Yeah.
Um, Annie McKay's I'm not a big saxophone fan, but holy cow,
Yeah.
McKay's work on this album is just absolutely amazing. Um, and I always think of Brian Ferry as just a singer, but his keyboard work on this is just, absolutely amazing.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
One of the best albums of its day. Um, yeah, My History isn't complex, but it's very endeared to me.
No, I agree with you. If you think, and for people watching, if you think that we're gushing over this album, newsflash, we are. And it's true. It's like, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
um, my history with this album, I've always known it existed. Like this album was always mentioned in lists of favorite albums, top 10 albums of the 80s, top 10 albums of all time. And the record cover, the cover art, sorry, is a classic. You know who it is, even without the title above of the name of the band. You know that record cover. You know that cover art. For me, once you recommended this album to me, um, and I listened to it, I was like, "Whoa!" Like this album, there's something going on here. It was almost like when they did this album, when they recorded this album, and they were stylizing this album. And let's face it, this album is a certain style to it, has a certain style to it. They almost fashioned it as the listener entering another world,
Mhm.
a world of ethereal voices and sensations, and just almost like a dream world,
Mhm.
where you could enter into for 37 minutes and 26 seconds. And then when the dream is over, you can walk out of the dream and you're still okay. But for that, for that half hour plus, you are enveloped into a world of just magic, of romance, of just safety
Yeah.
and comfort. Um, and like I did my notes on basically on every track. I mean, the word lush comes up quite a bit in my notes. And even with Brian Ferry's vocals, he very much delivers his vocals in almost like an ethereal kind of way, almost like it kind of like comes into the room very gently and
Yeah.
just wraps itself around you
Yeah.
and then leaves the room again. And you're like, what the hell is that? What am I experiencing here?
Yeah.
I know what it is. It's utopia. It's euphoria. It's like you're just drenched in this world of beauty and effortlessness, and it's just wonderful.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I there were very few times where I sit there and I listen to music and tears start coming down my cheeks. This is one of them.
Yeah.
This is
And
one of
that
them.
doesn't mean there are not any toe tappers on this album, because there are.
There are. I mean, let's go through this.
Yet
Okay.
yet it still keeps that ethereal. Yeah, shall we?
By all means, please do. Go ahead.
First of
I've made
all,
notes on every track, so go
I
ahead.
do I do too. And the opener more than this, one of the two hits off this album. Um,
Yeah.
and just the title of that song totally embraces what this album is.
And may I make a note here? Just a little interruption. The it's hit singles from this album only hit 103 and 104 respectively on the Billboard charts. I'll never understand why, but
Yeah.
I digress. Go on.
Well, I think we'd
Please.
we'd have to look and see what else was, you know, what else was released at the
Yeah.
time. So,
Yeah, I would imagine. Okay.
but yeah,
All
it's
right.
a brilliant opener. It sets the tone um, for it, and then goes right into the second track, the space between. Wonderful syncopated bass and percussion. Um, Really not much vocals. It's mostly groove
Yeah.
throughout the song,
Yeah.
and
Very
that's not a
percussive.
criticism. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a very, I have in my notes for the space between very percussive, strong bass, a nice guitar flourishes. I call it a subtle ass shaker.
there you go.
There you go.
If you have a subtle ass, this is what you
You can shake it. There you go.
do. Oh
Go
boy,
ahead. Go
go
ahead.
and uh, and then while you're shaking, the title song Avalon.
Yeah,
This is the definition of romantic music.
yeah,
Um, Very smooth, and that addition of Yannick Etienne, if I make sure I don't get tongue tied on that,
yeah,
um, on those vocals just add multiple layers to it.
yeah.
It is just, I mean, if there's ever any make out music recorded, this is it.
Yeah, and again, in my notes, I have here pop platinum. Um, a great bass, beautiful, lush synth work, subtle vocals, subtle guitar flourishes, gentle sax, um, and I have also nice pockets of bass
Yes,
on this. Just beautifully
yes.
done. And there's also a couple of instrumentals. We're coming up to one of the two
Oh yeah,
instrumentals on the
yeah.
album.
Um,
India is next.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Indian, just a minute 45, and it's just such a nice little, um, uh, it's just such a nice piece.
yeah,
It's like, and it's over so fast that it's like, wait a minute, did I miss something?
yeah, I know.
But it ties in the um the sequencing of these songs are just amazing. You know how
Yeah,
one flows into the next. Um, especially how India just melds right into While My Heart Is Still Beating.
yeah,
Um, it's somewhat sparse musically, so to speak, but it's very rhythmically strong.
yeah,
And um, the thing about it is Manzanera's guitar work. It's never in your face. It always suits the song in
yeah,
often
yeah.
very subtle ways in which it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't slap you upside the head, but holy cow,
Oh,
it is, it's at one time it's easy to forget that there's guitar on this because of the sense and the mood and everything.
yeah.
But I mean, what he does, and the same with McKay and the saxophone. It's all to make the song raise the song up to another level. And it's done so tastefully and melodically and musically. Um,
What I like about India too, it's a nice sort of just to get back to that for a sec. It's a
yeah,
nice, uh, but I guess a nice musical interlude, like a nice break
Hmm. Hmm.
from the three previous songs, and the fact that they use hand claps,
Yep.
at the end of the track on the
Yep.
outro in order to
Yep.
keep it together and to move
Hmm.
into while my heart is still beating. It's wonderfully done. It's like it might also have a drapery of musical textures,
Okay.
for
Yeah.
India, you know,
Yeah.
um, because like you said, a lot of the work here, a lot of the use of guitar and sax, they're done in a very subtle way. They're not like horn stabs or guitar like crashing
Yeah.
guitar chords.
Yeah.
It's done very gently. It's oh my God. Okay. Never mind. I'm gushing.
Everything is very tasteful,
Yeah.
and I use the term sophisticated again. I don't usually like to use the term sophisticated because I think that for many people that gives a sense of being kind of,
Yeah, snooty.
you know,
Yeah.
and
Uppity. Yeah.
inaccessible. But but it's not. I mean, it's like anyway.
No, I
Yeah.
know what you're saying.
While my heart is still beating, it's got a slower tempo, but it's got a very strong rhythmic element to it, and it's there again. Even the lower tempo songs on this album still have that pulse, that beat to it. It's
Yeah.
just not Studio 54.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
there's something I wanted to bring up about I was gonna say while my guitar gently with while my heart is still beating. Um, there's a sax section that comes in,
yeah.
and in my notes I have here sax faintly reminiscent of sax on Careless Whisper.
Okay.
There's a
Yeah,
certain passage
I can see that.
where
Yeah,
where it goes up.
it does.
It goes up a little bit.
It
It's,
does.
it's an
Hmm.
ascending sax line. It's not descending. It's an ascending sax line when it goes into the main, I guess, chorus. But to me, it sounds a little bit like the sax on Careless Whisper.
It does.
Careless Whisper did come out 2 years later, you know. Uh, but I'm not one to gossip, so you didn't hear that from me.
No, not at all.
So,
Uh,
sorry about that. But yeah, no, I
it's
didn't mean
okay.
to cut you off. But no,
No,
I wanted to bring that up,
while
mention
we're
that.
here.
Yeah, yeah. No, please continue. Yeah,
Yeah, now we go right into the main thing. Very rhythmically driven. It's got a hard pulse, but there again, it's not hitting you over the head with it. Um, this is one of the toe tappers here. It's very um, uh, I can't quite think of the word, but it's definitely an earworm
yeah.
for me. The main thing is definitely an earworm, and so this would be something that would fit in very well with any kind of um, party music, so to speak, because it does. It's got that pulse to it, um, and there again, we talk about India could easily be considered a throwaway, but within the context of the album as a whole,
No, it
if
fits
you look
perfectly.
at it, yeah, and as you look at it as a story, um, these songs, whatever they do fit a cinematic progression. Um, and because, a lot of rock just, you don't have instrumentals. And we mentioned,
No,
and at least I do, I mention a lot on this channel. Um, I really usually like when rock albums have instrumentals on them because it shows another side of what the band can do and what the album is about.
yeah,
Um, but anyway, yeah. But anyway, going back, the main thing is just really one of the earworms
yeah.
on this, and just very creative. The keyboards are just really creative on this with that constant bass,
Hmm.
constant bass drive going through this. So
I gotta say, they were very conscious of the bass frequency on this album.
yeah,
Very bass groove oriented,
mhm,
like throughout.
yeah,
Even on the instrumentals that they have, there's a strong bass presence throughout this album overall.
yeah.
Um,
Well, I think that's a carryover from their art rock days, obviously, but
could
it's
be,
just
yeah,
it's done in different textures and in very creative textures. So
yeah,
I really do. I think that's very, very interesting. Um, because Roxy Music for the first what they had 8 albums, I think.
yeah,
The first six are quite different from the last two, and so and actually chatting online this morning with a friend of mine on X, he prefers the early, he prefers the art rock to
okay,
this, synth pop, and which I always find interesting because I have found that a lot of music fans fall to the extreme with Avalon. They
yeah,
either love it or they hate it. There's not a lot of middle ground, but that's because they either love the romantic aspect of this or they prefer the art pop,
yeah.
and so, anyway, I digress. Um,
Everyone's got their opinion, so
I know, yeah, and that's fine.
yeah.
Take a chance with me. The next track,
Which is one of the
it
singles
start,
from the album. Yeah,
huh? Oh yeah, yeah.
it's one of the
It's
singles.
yeah. It starts off very kind of deceptive and slow. Almost sounds like they're improvising what they're doing in the instruments,
Hmm.
and they get past that intro, and holy cow, um, that tempo picks up and gets very catchy, very, very wonderful mood, great pop,
Hmm.
um, wonderful guitar work on this song, wonderful guitar work on this, and this is one of the songs where the vocals are a little bit more out front, a little bit more pronounced.
Yeah,
Um, another for me, it's still another earworm for me. Of course, I
yeah,
guess I guess I could say that about all the songs on this album for me. But yeah, Take a Chance
yeah,
with Me is just a great track.
yeah, yeah. No, no, I hear you. Um, yeah, there's not much to say on that one. I mean, I've got my notes, but I mean, you basically said it all. What I do like though, on the bass work on this album overall, is there is a lot of overdubbing of the bass.
Yes,
There's the main bass line, but you also have a lot of like, I call them bass pops,
electronic.
like
Yeah, yeah,
slapping of the bass.
yeah,
And I like that. That it just gives
yeah.
it just just more texture to it. That's all in terms of
That's
the
right.
piece. In
That's
terms of the
right.
piece. All right. So
And
next
that
up, we.
and
Sorry,
that
go ahead.
yeah, and it carries on into the next track too. That
To turn you
syncopated
on.
bass, very
Hmm.
strong. This is one of the tracks that have the rare actual guitar solo. Usually the guitar on this album is used for textures and whatever. Hey, cool. We get actually a guitar solo from Manzanera here, and it's a great one too.
Yeah.
Um, I've always been when it comes to guitar work, whether what I like to listen to or what I like to play on guitar, uh, I tend to lean heavily towards melodicism as opposed to shredding.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I get that.
I'll take David Gilmour to Eddie Van Halen any day.
Okay, I see what you're going. Yeah.
The fast, shredding and stuff like that.
Yeah. Tapping
Um,
on the fretboard. Yeah, I get that.
I mean, I get it, but I just like more than what I consider melodic, and so, and
Yeah.
obviously there's a lot of people on both sides of that. But this is a good middle of the road here for this. It's very melodic guitar. Here we got some more pronounced lead vocals from Ferry. And yeah, that syncopated and strong bass line. Um,
Hmm.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
to turn you on is perfect title for this song. Yeah.
Yeah. And I call them sweeping piano passages
Oh yeah.
that come in, right? I mean, and there's a lot of good grand piano on this too, on this
Yes.
album overall.
Yes.
Very good, subtle, but not so subtle, but good piano, dramatic, also dramatic piano chords
Hmm.
that come in
Absolutely.
on the song. So yeah, I mean, yeah, no, it's true. It's true. Next up, we have after To Turn You On, True to Life, uh, track number 4 on side two. Again, for me, in my notes, I have a dreamy synth intro, nice treated guitar chords. I mean, the guitars are treated at some point. They're on this
Yeah.
album, but nice guitar tone, you know. And just this song also has a very ethereal quality to it,
Mhm.
as does the rest of the album. But
Mhm.
this one, kind of
It
stands
does.
out to that. But yeah, what is your view on this track?
Yeah, I mean, well, you hit it right on the head. I mean, the layers of instruments is fuller on this song. Um, it's just such a incredible, full, wonderful sound. Like I said,
Yeah,
the textures, you're just encompassed by this wash of lovely sounds and textures.
yeah,
That is yet still very, very musical.
yeah. That's true. And the album ends off with Tara, or Tara, Tara. Um, another instrumental, a minute and 43 seconds. Again, in my notes, I have your lush synth textures on this. Nice use of sax, and nice use of crashing waves on the outro of the track. This brings your journey to an end with this album. Again, you're coming out of that dream state. Again, you're fully awake, but you're in this dream state while you're listening to this album. The, the ending of this song, of this piece, Terra, kind of brings you out of that dream state, and you're back to your reality, and you carry on with your day. Unless you want to repeat the album again, most people do. But I used to do stuff like that all the time. But yeah, I think it was a great way to end the album. I get it. I get it with what you were talking about. I understand what you were trying to tell me about this album. Um, I want more. No, no, I want more. Um,
Well, if you
uh-oh.
want more, the closest, because like I said, this is their last album,
Yeah,
their final album. The closest you're going to get to a sequel to this is Brian Ferry's solo album called Boys and Girls, which was released shortly thereafter.
yeah, yeah,
It's very, very much in the same vein.
yeah.
So, so yeah, at least that's there.
This album to me is wonderful. And I gotta tell you, when I listen to Brian Ferry's vocals, I do need the lyric sheet to sort
Yes,
of get what
yes.
he's singing, because he delivers his vocals in such a style, an ethereal style, that you're like, I'm straining to hear what he's singing.
Mhm.
But he's going for a mood
Yes,
with this
definitely.
album, a form of I'm it's a realm of fantasy that
Hmm.
giving you, that they're giving
Hmm.
you, and in terms of the production,
Yeah.
the arrangements, the textures that they're doing. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a fantastic album. There's a reason why this album has made so many lists over the years.
Yeah.
Um, What is your final take on this album overall? Like I know that we've been gushing over it, but let me ask you this question. Can you look at this album objectively?
Oh, um, probably not anymore.
Okay.
You know, I mean, 1982, when this was released, I was, um, there were a lot of changes going on in my life,
Yeah.
as a young adult. And this, like I said, this was somewhat of an eye opener with me, um, in this era of, uh, I was already into new wave, but it was more, Elvis Costello kind of thing, a little bit more
Yeah, the
uh,
Farfisa keyboard stuff. Yeah.
rock new wave. Yeah. So, and at the time, in the 80s with bands like ABC and the other synthpop, it's like, yeah, it's okay. To me, that seemed kind of formulaic,
Hmm.
but this for me has always kind of transcended a lot of that. And honestly, I appreciate synthpop and, like I say, ABC and Human League and stuff like that. I appreciate it more now than I did then,
Yeah.
simply because there's so much of the popular music of now that I just can't, I don't get. I don't enjoy, I don't connect with, or whatever. So for music of the 80s and 70s, I admit there's a lot of nostalgia factor to it,
Yeah.
and I think that's normal.
Yeah.
When you get to this point in life, because every generation they get to some point to say, "Oh, they don't make music like that anymore."
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's usually the case.
Yeah, no, it's true.
But
It's true.
but
But
yeah, it was, like I said, this is one of those albums that really, um, is unique in my music experience, at that point in life, and I still love it. One of the
yeah,
few albums I never tire of,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it does
Well,
still, even with all the 80s, the synths and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah.
Yet somehow it still feels timeless for me
Yeah,
because it's
no,
in
no.
my soul. It's in my soul.
There are certain albums that no matter when you listen to them, they're still relevant.
Yeah,
And to me, this is becoming one of those albums
yeah.
because it takes me back to a time of a simpler time. I was 12 years old when this came out, like 11. I wasn't even 12 yet. Um, and this was actually around the same time I got into Queen.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
same month, same year, um,
Wow. Okay.
not the same week, but about a couple of weeks later, that this came out. But yeah, it's becoming for me one of those albums that you listen to it, and you're just brought back to a certain time period, and it's fantastic. It's a wonderful snapshot of this time for this band. And I mean, Brian Ferry, I was trying to think of a way to describe him vocally and musically. To me, he's like the James Bond of pop because he brings him he presents himself, in the suits, very suave, very sophisticated, very worldly, you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
persona or not, that's how I see
Yeah,
him,
yeah,
minus and the martini, shaken not stirred,
yeah,
that kind of feel,
yeah.
that kind of suave sophisticated elegance that really wasn't there in most of the pop or new wave music that was coming out at that point.
That's right.
Okay, you had Duran Duran with Rio and the album Rio and the videos in Sri Lanka and stuff.
Hmm.
But this album took it to another level,
I think so.
that other bands couldn't match or surpass. And if you want to try, good luck. I'm sorry, but that's the way it was. That's how I felt anyway. I just wish there was an actual definitive box set of this.
Thank you. Yes. I always think that. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'd be on the Super Deluxe Edition site, and here we go.
All over it.
Um, yeah. And while we're on the Super Deluxe Edition site, what's with a little sidebar? What's with the Steven Wilson reworking of Welcome to the Pleasure Dome 30-minute version, only available on the Blu-ray audio and only available on the Super Deluxe Edition site? That stinks. Moving on, back to the show. Now, um, yeah, I
Yeah.
just, yeah, in closing, I just think that this album for me, they created a world with this album, another universe, another, because even when you look at the album cover, okay,
Mhm.
you mentioned, your view of it before, of what it represents, but to me, it's like somebody, it could either be the day starting or the day, at dawn or dusk,
Yep.
and there is coffee in my cup only, ladies and gentlemen, at dawn or dusk, and the individual either looking at the day ahead of them or looking at what's ahead of them and reflecting back as to what they accomplished during that day. So it goes either way. It works either way,
It
right?
does.
So, but it just created a world, another realm that was just wrapped in beautifulness, like just being beautiful and being effortless and being just taken away somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we all need a bit of that in this day and age. We all need a bit of that. So that's why for me this album deserves more praise and more discussion, which is why we're doing this video. But
Exactly.
yeah, I think it's just a fantastic piece of work. And if there ever is a definitive box set, sign me up. I'm telling you
I'm
right
there.
now. Like, oh my God. Um, all right, ladies and gentlemen, enough of my
There you
gushing.
have it.
There you
There
have
you
it.
have it.
Album Spotlight on Roxy Music's Avalon. Please put down in the comments below your opinion on this album. Are we right? Are we wrong? Have we missed the boat completely? Or do you agree with us? Like, seriously, what is your view of this album? And let's, should we do a Roxy Music album ranking? Let's put the question out there. Should we do a Roxy Music album ranking? Okay, because
And
as I
with that
said,
and with that question,
yeah,
go ahead and put your ranking down below in the
down below,
comments.
yes, right down there.
Please
Please
do.
let us know. Let us know what you think, and
Mhm.
let us know what your album ranking for Roxy Music would be. I know what mine would be for number one. Spoiler alert, but there you go. Um, but then again, again, the Roxy Music catalog for me, as I said, has been more miss than hit in terms of what I've heard. Um, you know, I need to dive into more of the stuff they did
I do too.
with Brian Eno as a member of the
I
band.
do too.
And people tend to forget too that he left pretty early on in the
Yes.
band's career, right? He wasn't around for very long within the band due to what I've heard, musical clash direction with Brian Ferry. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, please put down your comments below. We'd like to get a dialogue going and a conversation going about this album. We think it's fantastic. What do you think? All right. I want to thank Ken for joining me on this episode, and our conversations always go all over the map. I love it. I love it. Anyways, again, please click like and subscribe, and do hit the notification bell to keep yourselves on top of any new content that we got coming up. We've got more shows on the books that are coming up. We have a show, a band spotlight on the Tea Party, which Ken and I are going to be doing. We're going to be discussing 10 of their tracks and giving you our opinion on the band. And I'm interested to get Ken's opinion on this band, on the Tea Party, but that's coming up also. And please look after yourselves and one another, and we'll see you soon on the Music Den. Bye for now.